Welcome back. A deadly attack occurred on Thursday, yesterday, in Benin City, the capital of Edo State, when suspected gunmen targeted the convoy of Philip Shaibu, the recently reinstated deputy governor of Edo State, who was in the company of Monday Okpebholo, the All Progressives Congress governorship candidate for the forthcoming September 21 governorship election in Edo State. Now, the incident happened near the Benin airport. This was shortly after both men landed in Benin City and were in a convoy, in a procession on their way to the town. And this resulted in the attack, that is, in the death of a police officer. Witnesses reported that the gunmen in a Sienna vehicle opened fire on the convoy at the exit gates of the airport, leading to an exchange of gunfire between the attackers and the security operatives. The situation was brought under control by the Nigeria Police Force mobile squad, who continued shooting to disperse the attackers as they fled in a Toyota Sienna bus. This incident, of course, comes after a federal high court in Abuja nullified the removal of Shaibu as deputy governor of Edo State. He was impeached on July 17 after charge of violation of legal provisions. This is what the court said, that legal provisions were violated. Well, the court ordered his reinstatement. Not just that, the court also directed the Inspector General of Police to restore his security detail. We hear, however, the Edo State government claims that Shaibu mobilized thugs, regarding yesterday, mobilized thugs who unleashed terror in Benin City, leading to the death of that police inspector. The government has filed a notice of appeal. It's now regarding the reinstatement of Shaibu by the court. They've filed an appeal and stay of execution on that judgment. And they're saying that because of that appeal for application for stay of execution, that Shaibu remains impeached until the appeal court decides otherwise. Now, this attack has raised concerns about the escalating political tensions in Edo State ahead of the off-cycle governorship election, which will hold on September 21. Who is responsible for what happened yesterday? Is Shaibu still impeached because of the appeal and the application for stay of execution? We will talk about all that, amongst others. Crusoe Osagie is a special assistant media projects to the Edo State government. He joins us virtually. Bob-Manuel Umoru is a political scientist, strategist, and analyst, also joining us virtually, both from Edo State. Gentlemen, good evening to you. Thank you for your time tonight.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. On the point of correction, I'm special advisor.
Okay, thank you. I saw essay, so I wasn't sure. You look like a special advisor, and that was not to, downgrade what you are. Apologies for that, Crusoe. Let me start by asking for your reaction to yesterday's events. Crusoe, let me start with you. First time having you on the program.
Yeah, we're still in shock. Philip Shaibu came to town yesterday. He was met at the airport by the Commissioner of Police, who drew his attention to the stay of execution that we had served on the Inspector General of Police, and that has been copied him as well. And then, of course, the notice of appeal, and advised him to stand down his parade, because he had mobilized thugs to wait for him at the airport, for them to make a violent procession into town, to take the government house by force and by storm. None other person than the Commissioner of Police advised him against that move, saying that there's a stay of execution. You cannot go to the office of the deputy governor. But in his characteristic manner, he disregarded the advice of the Commissioner of Police and still moved into town. And of course, all kinds of thugs bearing all kinds of weapons. They started shooting sporadically, terrorizing people. And unfortunately today, we have a father, I'm sure a husband, a father, a son, a policeman that has been slain. If Philip Shaibu had just simply listened to the Commissioner of Police, and if he had stood down his thugs, I'm sure this man whose lifeless body is being dragged into this van today would have been at home with his family. So we have called on the police to arrest Philip Shaibu and bring him to justice. because the Commissioner of Police, none other person than the Commissioner of Police, is a witness to his brigandage and the cause of this crisis.
It's unfortunate that we lost a police officer there. Really sad one, like you said, Crusoe. He could have been home with his family instead of being in the mortuary. Bob-Manuel, your reaction to yesterday's unfortunate incident?
Well, first, I want to appreciate His Excellency Philip Shaibu for displaying an uncommon maturity in the whole of this shameful and barbaric act orchestrated by the Edo State Government via the ESN, Edo State Security Network. And I want to appreciate the Nigerian Police, the Edo State Command, for also displaying maturity, not dispatching their men to go on rampage, shooting anybody at sight. Imagine if it was a military man that was shot, you know what the situation would be today. And the true story of this whole shameful act as orchestrated by the Edo State Government was the fact that His Excellency Philip Shaibu landed at the Benin airport yesterday as we were made to believe that the Commissioner of Police was there to tell him he can't come in and all the rest. Those were just stories. Those were fabricated lies. The Commissioner of Police is alive. You can invite him to this media to come and give his own side of the story, and you will hear shocking revelations. When they landed in company of the APC chairman, of course, Senator Monday Okpebholo, who happened to be on the same flight with His Excellency, then they saw chunks of supporters who came to welcome Comrade Philip Shaibu. And before you know it, as they were on possession to say, oh, congratulations for the victory via the court. And of course, there was a perpetual injunction, which they are claiming that they had a stay of order and all the rest of it, which His Excellency Philip Shaibu was not served. And as they were going, the ESN, and remember, I have raised many alarms on the issue that has to do with the ESN, that's the Edo State Security Network. They come on the disguise of vigilante, but of course, they are political armed thugs belonging or being owned and controlled by the Edo State Government, His Excellency Governor Godwin Obaseki, the SSG, and of course, the chief of staff to the governor. These guys have been their errand boys doing all the shit. They opened fire. If it was the fact that, okay, it was the police using force to send Philip Shaibu back to where he was coming from, it wouldn't have resolved to this. But we had a situation where untrained armed men started shooting sporadically. It could have been His Excellency Philip Shaibu that was hit by that bullet. It would have been the APC candidate. It would have been anybody. But unfortunately, it hit a policeman. And who was the policeman? An orderly of the APC governorship flag bearer for the 2024, Senator Monday Okpebholo. That's a security detail that was shot while trying to save his boss and, of course, ensure that there was calm. And like we said, I say it again, and I appreciate the police. If it was the police that shot at innocent citizen, or maybe it was an accidental discharge, you know what it would have been today.
All right. So you're saying the officer who was gunned down was I want to go back to Crusoe Osagie. Crusoe, you've listened to Bob-Manuel Umoru. What is your response to what he has said?
All of what he has said are fabricated stories. For example, he said that Philip Shaibu and Okpebholo happened to be on the same flight. You don't happen to be on the same private jet. They were not in a commercial flight. They came in a private jet. So it was an organized movement. Before they got to Benin, they had made calls. They had called their thugs, to wait for them at the airport. There's a certain young man in Edo called Tuni Kabaka. He's the emblem of thuggery in Edo State. He was in that airport that day. His videos are replete all over the place. He was the one leading the charge, chanting war songs, violent movements and so on and so forth. So all of it was staged. He said the Commissioner of Police is alive. Yes, of course, he's alive, and he has granted the press, has handled he held a press conference today where he stated clearly that even if indeed Philip Shaibu had a judgment that needed to be enforced, Philip Shaibu does not have the responsibility of enforcing that judgment by himself. It is a court that will send a bailiff, and the police will accompany the bailiff to enforce Philip Shaibu's judgment. So let's even assume, without conceding, that his judgment is still alive, and that there's no stay of execution to restrain his judgment. Does Philip Shaibu have the constitutional responsibility of enforcing his judgment? Is he not supposed to?
Okay, so I just want to find out from you, what is your response to the point made by Bob-Manuel that the police officer who lost his life is an orderly of Akpakobisa? So how can Akpakobisa order thugs to shoot his own orderly? Is I think what Bob-Manuel is asking.
Well, I will not accept the position of the police coming from a private citizen. The Commissioner of Police held a press conference today, like I said, and the police PRO also addressed the press yesterday. They didn't say at any point that this policeman was the orderly of Akpakobisa. They only mentioned the unit where the police officer serves in the state, and there was no mention of him being the orderly.
Okay, Bob-Manuel
is left to the police to. So I.
All right, Bob-Manuel, over to you.
Okay, when it comes to fabricating stories and all the rest of it, the Edo State government and those around the governor of Edo State are good in cooking the books. They know how to cut corners, how to tell lies, and all the rest of it. For clarity's sake, please ask him the unit the policeman belonged to. Where was his last duty post? Where was he posted to? This man is an orderly to Akpakobisa. I am saying it on notable authority. I am saying it as something that I know. He was not there by accident. The police did not dispatch anybody to go to the airport, except the orderlies of Philip Shaibu that were reinstated. And they were the ones who were there, and of course his trunks of supporters who came out to welcome him. And this is a tradition in politics. When a political VIP is coming to town, especially at electioneering time, you see their teaming supporters coming to chant song, sing celebration song to give them that popularity. It's normal. They do it even to the governor, to everybody. But as to this man being shot, that man I'm talking about, that police officer, is the orderly of Akpakobisa. And let me say this. Prior to 2024 primaries, I had again, each time I said there are informations, people will begin to ask me questions. And when those things happen, they think I am one prophet, or maybe I am one oracle. It's not as if I am an oracle. I have access to information. Last year, I had an intelligent argument with 3 sitting commissioners who are still in Obaseki's administration. And they told me, Bob, come and join us so that you will survive the 2024 political onslaught.
All right.
Something will happen. They said the 2024 election will be tension. I said,
okay. Let's leave that out for now. I want to go over to. Let's look at the court judgment and the appeal. I want to go to you, Crusoe, the Commissioner of Communication and Orientation in your state, Chris Nekari. He has said that the fact that the state government has filed for a stay of execution in response to that court order reinstating Shaibu means that Shaibu is still impeached as deputy governor, because the appeal or the application for stay of execution means that the status quo remains. Do you agree with what he's saying, that Shaibu is not the deputy governor?
Exactly, that's what the law says. Once you are filed for a stay, all issues remain as they were. Status quo ante must be maintained, because if you go ahead to implement a judgment in the face of a stay that has been applied for, then you are essentially foreclosing what the appellate court would, the conclusions the appellate court will arrive at, and it's replete in law. I think it's also the responsibility of the news channels to bring senior advocates of Nigeria, different senior advocates of Nigeria, and different law officers to come to your station to explain to you, so that it will be coming from an independent party, instead of from interested parties. Once an individual has filed for a stay, that stay automatically pauses the judgment that is being applied against, and to pave the way for appeal. Otherwise, you have already provided the fait accompli for the appeal. So yes, as immediately the stay of execution was applied for, Philip Shaibu's position returned to what it was before, and that is that he's the impeached deputy governor, impeached and former deputy governor of Edo State. So he has no right to parade himself as deputy governor of the state. We have only one deputy governor known to law, and is the person, Mr. Omobayo Marvelous Godwins. Omobayo Marvelous Godwins. His Excellency Omobayo.
Okay. All right, but Mario, are you of the same mind? I mean, I don't think you are of the same mind. But I mean, what do you say to this? Application for stay of execution equals status quo remains. Yes or no?
You asked them the first one. Did they get the CTC of the judgment? Yes, they were served. Did your lawyer or the court or the bailiff serve His Excellency Philip Shaibu the stay of execution? And we all know that Comrade Philip Shaibu is a law-abiding citizen. He has never been found to have broken the law of this nation or disrespected or disregarded any court. The Philip Shaibu that I know, if he has the stay of execution, if he was served, he would not appear at the government house, let alone saying he wants to resume office. So all these stories are just they are just mere fabricated stories. I know them, and that was why I was telling you before you cut me short. I told them, and I'm saying it again. And I even challenged the special advisor on media to the governor to tell me and tell the whole nation that Governor Godwin Obaseki did not bankroll those supplying ammunition to the tune of 2 billion to supply ammunition that they are using today. That the ESN were supplied weapons. I said it before, and I cried out. I said the president should please ensure that this arms deal that is going on in the Edo State, this gun running should be put to a halt. The rate of cultism and killings in Edo State for the past 1 year is alarming. All because a governor is so desperate to win an election to cover some shady deals, just like Yaya Bello, and he's doing the same thing. The only way he thinks he can do that is to resort to violence. I said it 2 months ago. I said it last month. I broke it as a news that Governor Godwin Obaseki is acquiring weapons. And what happened yesterday? Untrained charlatans in the disguise of ESN vigilantes went to shoot a sitting deputy governor, a man with immunity, whom the court even restated. It calls for questioning and it calls for reasoning. That you cannot sporadically shoot at your people because you felt that you had an order from the court that of stay of execution. Are you the one to execute? You say you have asked.
Okay, all right. I mean, you made a Bob-Manuel. We don't want Bob-Manuel, please. Bob-Manuel, please. Like I said last time, Bob-Manuel, Umoru, please. Please, you made a point, which is that, the governor bought an allegation, bought guns and all that. We don't want to speculate. We don't want to, make such allegations without any proof to back those claims.
No, it's not speculation. I told you, I said, 3 sitting commissioners, I'm not saying former commissioner, 3 sitting commissioners in this administration told me that they are going to tension the 2024 process. Allah, today we are facing the reality.
That's you're conjecturing. So let's leave that out for now. Let's because I mean I don't know. We can't verify that. But I want to go back to Crusoe. Okay, thank you very much, Bob-Manuel. Please, Crusoe. Did the court have they granted that application for a stay of execution?
Well, before I answer your question, I would like to express my displeasure with this fellow you brought to your television today, who shows so much disrespect for you, who's the host of the show.
No. Allow us deal with that, please. Please, we don't have time. Mr. Crusoe Osagie, we don't have time. So let's leave that aside. And please answer my question, please.
If you're going to have to bring such a person side by side,
Crusoe Osagie, please
don't invite me.
Allow us handle that. I think I've handled that. So,
if you're going to
Crusoe, we don't have time. Can you answer my question, please? Please, Crusoe
I have to walk out of your interview. I have the right to walk out on you on your interview.
Crusoe Osagie, I'm sure you understand that
if you are going to allow this fellow insult the governor without proof.
Crusoe, you had me put him right. So I want you
going
to
have
answer my
walk out
question,
of
sir.
your interview.
Thank you.
Because
Thank
there
you.
are rules in broadcasting which you have
Thank
not,
you very much,
which you have
Crusoe.
not followed today.
Thank
So
you.
I'm going to have to walk out of your interview, and don't invite me to your program again next time.
Well, it is your choice. It is your choice. You heard me correct him twice, Mr. Osagie.
Please do not invite me to your program next time, please.
But you had me correct him 2 times. You had me correct him 2 times. Well, that's Crusoe Osagie. You had me correct the guest to say that he's making allegations, and so we do not want him to make unfounded allegations if he cannot defend them on the program. But I asked Crusoe Osagie a very important question, which is, was that application for stay of execution granted by the court, which he could not answer, because we know that if you apply for a stay of execution, it does not automatically translate to a maintenance of status quo. The court must grant that stay of execution. You must prove to the court that the failure to grant that stay of execution will affect probably the evidence, or some aspect of the case. I'm not a lawyer, so lawyers will be able to explain it better. But we have to leave it at that. Bob-Manuel Umoru, you see, I was telling you to please not make unfounded allegations. Like we say in here on News Central TV, we do not have any evidence. We can't substantiate those claims and their allegations. Bob-Manuel Umoru, thank you very much for your time. Crusoe Osagie, in absentia, thank you very much for your time as well. What a way to end the program this week, but I hope you had a worthwhile time watching Politics HQ tonight. My name is Kofi Bartels. Good night.